It's on the tip of my tailbone, so I have a little tail.
You have a tail?
It's completely internal. I have nothing sticking out of my body.
Sadie has a tail.
Welcome to the next episode of Goddess Hangs.
Episode 17.
Woo! I'm Sadie.
And I'm Juliet.
Obviously.
And welcome to the Goddess family.
Welcome, welcome. We're back. I've got my hair extensions in today. I'm feeling feisty.
You're looking feisty.
Thank you. I actually woke up today. My cats woke me up at 5 a.m.
Okay.
I thought they knocked something over, but it turns out they were playing with a loud toy that they were dragging around and it was hitting stuff. But I jumped out of bed and was like flashlight, like, what did they knock over? And then if I get woken up early in the morning like that, I just have a terrible time falling back asleep. Oh, but this was funny. I found the toy they were playing with, and then I found Mr. Cat, but I couldn't find Boo. And then Boo comes ripping out of my closet because the closet door was open a little bit. I opened my closet door. There's all of her toys are in there. She dragged all of her toys into my closet, and I don't know if there was a territory dispute with Mr. Cat and the toys.
A dispute.
They're having a really good time, but I was like, hey guys, Mama needs her sleep.
What an eventful day you've had so far.
I know. So then fast forward, I was feeling like, tired and blah, and I was like, you know what? I got time. I'm going to do my hair and it's going to make me feel better. And it worked.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
Anyone listening should definitely just pop onto the YouTube just to see this magnificent hair. Just magic. Well, actually, it's her real hair. She did a spell.
I did a spell.
It grew overnight.
I do this spell. I can just like on and off and I don't have to do anything. That's what I meant by do my hair.
Good job. She had time to do the incantation.
Did some of the tips purple with the spell. Yep, that's me, the witch. So we have a really fun episode today. We're going to talk about what was the clever title I told you that I can't remember? Fearlessly
tapping into your magic.
Yes, that was it. I was like, I got to text Juliet this right now. I'll never remember this genius. Thank God I did.
It's a brilliant idea, and it's something that it's sort of in like the zone of expertise for both of us, just sort of in different realms. There's a lot of overlap for sure, but like Sadie comes from a very like witchy perspective, and I come from like an artsy creative perspective, and there's definitely so much that works for both realms. So I'm excited to get into all that today. It's going to be like a little masterclass type episode.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe we should save this, but no, we want to give it to you guys. But before we do that, Juliet, what's new with you?
Oh my gosh, I had to write down some new things because every year this is a challenge.
This is the 17th year we've done this. The once a year podcast.
Age like fine wine, let me tell you.
It's my witchcraft.
Okay, I wrote down that I have my new thing. Sadie's always like, I had a major breakthrough in my life. I started watching WandaVision, and I love it. I'm one episode away from finishing it. There's a lot of magic in it. I don't know anything about the Marvel universe, so I have to pause it and have Victor explain things to me constantly. But if you want like a good escape, I love WandaVision.
Cool.
I have decided to refine my own like branding and direction even more so with the help of Sadie. I asked her a couple weeks ago, I was like, what do I need to do? Just help me.
And I was like, oh, I've been waiting for you to ask. You never want to push your, like, it wasn't even advice. It was just...
Well, you're really smart because it doesn't click with people when you say, you know what you should do.
Yeah, I hate when people do that to me.
No one's receptive to that. I'm not receptive to that. So,
and then she finally asked me and I was like, oh, thank God I have a lot to tell you.
I was like, I know that you know what I need to do next. So I'm just going to skip the year of stumbling and just ask you what it is.
Yeah.
So I sort of like redesigned my website, and my Instagram is going to be a little bit different. And I'm able to blend, I realize that everything that I do in music, every success that I've had, all these things that honestly make no sense, like in comparison to my friends who have agents and managers and publishers and whole teams behind them. I've never had any of that, and yet I am able to bring in clients and business and abundance and opportunities in a way that makes no sense. And I realized that it all has to do with intuition. And so I'm going to be teaching sort of using your intuition, tapping into your intuition and your inner magic in a way that will build your artist career. So I'm excited to sort of bring something new to that conversation, because there's a lot of other types of things in that world. And I do teach a singer-songwriter masterclass, but this is going to be like, you know, you got it, you got it, you're talented, but like, this is why you're not getting to the next level. Like, this is the thing that will carry you from A to B.
From starving artist to thriving
artist. So that's new. I also, as I was working on it, I was sitting on my couch, and our window right there is not a place where hummingbirds have ever come, or even birds in general. It's not like a birdie area. Sadly, I love birds, but when it was all sort of coming together and I'm typing everything in and I'm on this like roll and I'm like, wait, this feels so good. This feels so right. A hummingbird flew up to the screen like inches from my face and hovered there, and we just looked at each other. And I said, okay, I see you. Like, this is a good sign. And then off it fluttered. So
I love that.
That's new. And then I went to the beach last week, and I did a fun photo shoot on my roof with Victor last night.
In your new dress.
In my pretty new dress. And we have matching dresses.
We have matching dresses. We're gonna wear it for a special episode. They're matching and also not matching. They are harmonized.
It's like when Destiny's Child used to match. You know, it wasn't the exact same thing, but it was coordinated
for our improv / musical / podcast duo.
And also, the other thing that's new is we were gifted these stunning bracelets.
I'll go up close to show.
All right, Sadie's gonna get close.
Not this one.
These beautiful bracelets from our very own Tiffany Parker. You will remember Tiffany from the episode where we talked about past lives. She's a past life quantum healing hypnosis. I called her the technician. That's not the right word. Yeah. But she gifted us these gorgeous golden hematite empath bracelets, and she wanted to extend a really awesome offer. If you want to get this bracelet and be twins with us, or anything
from her shop, but
there's a code GRATEFUL at checkout for 15% off. And Tiffany's a true goddess, and we're excited to match, and we want to match with you too.
I know, how fun would it be for all the goddesses to be wearing this together?
It would be so awesome.
We'd go like this and be able to read each other's minds with our bracelets on. Call back.
Did you like our faces last week? We were like...
Get you a bracelet and you can mind chat with us. This is like mind talk.
Text us a text with your mind.
With your empath bracelet.
With your empathy. So yeah, this is like the welcome to the empathy club. Empathy is a beautiful gift. It just requires that sometimes we protect ourselves and spend a little more time alone.
Yes.
But it's a gift and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Rock Candy by Tiffany.
Rock Candy by Tiffany. We'll put the link below and a reminder of what the code is. So Juliet just got hers today because they were mailed to me, but I've been wearing mine like nonstop since Friday.
Yeah.
During showers, I put it in my selenite bowl to cleanse and charge.
Okay.
Because golden hematite does absorb negative energy, so you do need to cleanse it often.
Okay, good to know.
So every shower, I'm like, pop it in there for a little recharge. But I've been feeling it. I don't wear all my bracelets all the time anymore, but this one, I really feel it's like grounded me. And I don't know, I just feel like more stable, if that makes sense. We don't see anyone anymore, so I haven't had too much trouble with the picking up other people's energies too much. But it's gonna be very helpful when we all have to venture back out in the world, because I'm like, I need one for each wrist.
And it looks so pretty with you have like
my
a
gold
14
bracelet.
karat gold bracelet.
That's what I was really excited about, is that it's like perfect together.
So this week has been a week of refinement and photo shoots and beautiful gifts. And if you ever want to send us anything, we love presents. We do. We're not shy about that. And we'll talk about your beautiful gift on the air.
Yes.
So,
and share it on our Instagrams too.
Yeah. We love trying out your beautiful products.
And We love
so
it.
Good. Yay!
Thank you. Oh, I also want to give yet another shout out to Raven's Eye Crystals, because a few episodes back, I shared the very sad story of losing one earring.
Very sad.
And without skipping a beat, she messages me and she says, another earring's in the mail. Doesn't ask me, if I want one or if I found it or whatever. She just messages me, hey, your earring's in the mail. I was like, I almost started crying. I was like, thank you. I really liked those, but I didn't want to ask.
Raven's Eye
thank you,
Crystals.
Candace. You're so sweet. I'm so excited. And she sent us so much goodies. I'm going to send her a little gift back. I'm going to make her one of my abundance candles.
Oh, I love that.
And she requested some sand from my beach.
I
have
love
a front
that.
yard beach. So I'm going to send her a few goodies. So thank you, Raven's Eye Crystal. That was so sweet.
And we used so much of your beautiful jewelry and the crystal crowns all in all of our new photos.
Yes.
In all the new branding, the YouTube cover, everything. And
Yep.
it would not have been possible without your incredibly generous gift. So thank you
Yes.
so much.
And the one crown from Flow It Out
Creation.
So shout out everybody.
So many shout outs.
So many gifts.
So many gifts.
Round of applause.
That's all that's new with me. I could get into, pillows I bought and then returned. And then,
How's your king size mattress? There actually were a few comments of people answering their preference of cuddling
I saw
and king
that.
size. So shout out, thank you. We're always dead serious when we're comment below. We love reading your
love the
comments. It makes me so happy. I need to get better about responding because I see them in my email pop up and they make me chuckle.
I'm sorry, I could get better at that too.
But we need to get better at responding to you guys.
But we read them.
Instagram, we respond. It's a little more often we respond. So if you are really looking to chat with us, go to Instagram.
And then so we did the whole, what was the soulmate episode? Mm-hmm. We did the whole episode on soulmates, and somebody commented something like, never knew about an Alaskan king. And I was like, well, whatever you take away, I'm glad.
We're educating
you
the
got
people with
something
the
out of
real
it.
important stuff out there. The different king size beds.
What is new with you?
I don't know. I have one thing, but I was trying to think of something else. Well, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you. So I had... Is there anything else new and fun and interesting? I had a few days of feeling a little off. I always like to share that because...
I appreciate it. It's so transparent.
Yeah, I don't know. We're always here in high vibe and having fun, but I think it's important to share. We have our days too. So I had a couple days where I was feeling anxious. It might have just been the full moon, intense energy. So it was okay. It was fine. Just was a little emotional for a few days. And then I had my full moon in Libra group spell. Oh my God. It was incredible. So I did this is the second group spell I did, or actually it's the third. It's the second that I sold an offering. The first group spell I did was just a money spell for my money mindset magic. Of course, I'm tripping over my words. And I just did that, felt like it. And I was like, oh, that was cool. I felt all their energies and I want to start selling this as an offering. So I did the second one where I sold the offering, and I think I had 6 people in it, and I did it was really cool. But this third one I did was insane. It was, so there was 17 signups, so 18 with me. Yeah.
I know, I saw all the candles.
It fit perfectly in the tray. I was like, I have to get another tray so the universe knows more people can sign up, because it was literally exactly, including myself, because I always include myself in this spell, how many people could sign up and fit on my beautiful little tray. It was crazy. But I never know while I'm working it if other people are going to feel it or not. And it's okay, if you're a part of one of my group spells and you don't necessarily feel this wow or something. And I don't really expect people to. But I know when I was doing it, I was sweating. I was so thirsty. You remember how it feels to be so thirsty from energy, because when we worked in the crystal store, that would happen every single day.
Yeah.
It was that kind of thirst. The energy was so powerful. And I was, receiving downloads and all the stuff. It was so cool. And then the next day I kind of put it out there. I was like, hey, let me know if you feel anything, whatever. almost everyone was like, oh my God, I suddenly got so thirsty and I didn't know why. So everyone was feeling that. And people were saying, that they felt like a loving energy, that they felt a release, that, all this different stuff. It was so cool. I heard from most of the people in the spell, something that they felt something positive. So it was just really cool because I haven't done a ton of spells for other people, and just to know like, whoa, I know I'm a witch and I know I have magical powers, and every single person has magical powers, but to get that kind of consistent feedback from people felt so good. I was like, damn, I'm a magical bitch.
Hell yeah.
It was so cool. So and almost everyone was like, I can't wait to sign up for the next one. And I don't know, it's gonna be this big magical thing that I'm going to do for every moon. So if you're interested, I'm doing new moon in Aries is April 11th. So that's the next spell. And the link is in my bio at I am Sadie Olson. So what happens is I send you like pre-spell instructions. You get to learn a little bit about the energy of that particular moon. You get some journaling prompts. It's honestly like a mini coaching session. It's only $11.11, so it's insane. I'm like, I should probably charge more, but I love that it's accessible to like anybody.
And it sounds like something that people should just try once.
Yeah.
And just see what happens.
And even if you don't feel the magic, like I'm literally giving you journaling prompts, giving you exercises, reading your energy, doing a spell for you. So if you've ever wanted to work with me, but maybe you're not quite ready for a course or something, or a one-on-one, do the spell, because you get a lot.
You get a lot of Sadie.
Yeah. But yeah, so you get pre-spell, and then I do the spell, and then you get post-spell, follow up the messages, the energies, so, like some sort of exercise that I think everyone should do in the group. And I detail all the ingredients that I ended up using and what they were for. So you can kind of learn how to do spells this way too.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, so it's really fun. I'm just excited to see where it goes. I'm like imagining I have 100 candles on my desk next time.
Yes.
Which I'm like, I gotta be careful with the cats, fire hazards, but I didn't burn anything down. And it was just, it was so cool. It was so powerful. It was really fun. And I was just excited that this new offering came to me. I was in meditation one day and I was like, why don't I try and do that as an offering? I bet people would like that. And of course, Craig, per usual, was like, yeah, babe, that's going to be the next huge thing. You're going to kill it at that.
He's so great.
Every time. He's so cute. So yeah, that was one new thing, my magical offering. And I don't know. I don't think any... Oh my gosh. I was going to tell this kind of funny story. So last night... So normally Craig goes to family dinners on Wednesdays and we're together. So I don't go... It's on his dad's side. So I don't go to them that often. But we switched it so we could do double date night tonight with Victor. Date. And so I got to go yesterday. And he's got a little niece and nephew that are like 2 and 3, I think now. I don't know. 1 or 2 or 2 and 3. 2 and 3. And Thaddeus is the older brother, and he's hilarious. He's very well spoken. He's super smart. He's got a great imagination. But he normally Craig plays this game with them where like Thaddeus jumps off the bed into his arms, and then you have to throw him back on the bed. And he was like, I want Sadie to play. And it was terrifying. I was like, oh my God, this is not my child. He's just like jumping. He's like, stand farther back. And I'm like, I don't want to. But then he started playing this game where he was like, Sadie, did you know there's a ghost in here? And I was like, okay, this is probably his imagination, but I'm going to start asking questions, obviously, as someone who can talk to spirits. I didn't really feel anything, but I was just curious. It was just really cute because I was like, is it a nice ghost? Do you know if it's a man or a woman? And he was just like, he was just so quick. Like, he's like, yeah, it's a man. It's a nice man. He's wearing a funny hat. I was like, oh, what kind of hat? He goes, a brown one. And he's just telling me all these details, and it very well was, could have been his imagination, but I was just thinking of like when I have children and I want to make sure that if they're connecting with spirits and stuff, that I'm asking questions and encouraging it rather than, being like, oh, there's no ghosts, like whatever, because he wasn't scared. So it's just kind of a funny, interesting he had his little flashlight and he was like looking under the bed. He's like, well, I don't see him now, maybe he's under here, and like all this stuff. So I was like, maybe there's a ghost, maybe there's not. But it was cute to talk to a little kid about ghosts and go ghost hunting with him.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I used to love doing that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I remember I had one play date with a friend and we got this like disposable camera. And so we went around the house and we just took pictures of where we thought ghosts were going to show up. And I think my mom was probably kind of annoyed because she paid to get photos of literally nothing developed. Like it would be like my hand and then like a chair and then like my hand and a table. And she's like, what are these? I was like, Mom, we were looking for ghosts.
Were there orbs in any of them or anything? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I was like,
that's so
9.
funny.
But always loved that. Always loved that. And now here we are.
And now here we are talking to ghosts. When I was little, I was scared of spirits and ghosts. But I loved making potions and stuff. So
naturally.
I remember at grandma, I think I already talked about this, but at my grandma Olson, my grandma and grandpa Olson, they had a farm and they had an old school outdoor like kitchenette thing. It was like a brick chimney outside with a stove. Like in the olden days they would bake their bread and stuff outside. It was like an oven / stove outside, and they didn't use it anymore, but we would play like kitchen on it, and I was always making little potions and deciding that this would do this or whatever, because I was also into Harry Potter, so I knew about that stuff. So I've been a witch all along.
I used to take all these, my poor cousin. I used to take all these ingredients from my grandma's kitchen and just mix them together and like put them in the oven, and she would like bake it, even though I just put a bunch of like nothing in it. And I'd be like, Casey, eat it, it's good. And he'd be like, but I was like, no, I tried it, it's good. And he'd be like,
try it.
It was like horrible. No, I never tried it. It was always bad. I'd be like, just try it, it's good. I was a little mischievous with him. I think.
So funny.
And I would make him do all sorts of singing and dancing shows. And we would do Singing in the Rain. My grandma would play piano and do I'm Singing in the Rain.
Oh my God.
We like would dance around, and I had to choreograph it and direct everybody, and they just went along with it. And I remember my cousin had his own personal umbrella that was very easy to open. It was a Hercules umbrella. And then the umbrella at the house was this very hard to open one. And I was like, you use this one. He's like, but I want to use mine. I'm like, no, I'm using that. I was a very like pushy, the show just had to go just like so.
How you said so.
Yeah, I'm not like that anymore.
I think my cousin Hannah has been listening to this podcast, so shout out Hannah.
Shout out Hannah.
Me and her would go in her basement and choreograph dances to the latest, Britney Spears, Spice Girls, whatever it was. And they had a really cool basement because it was like a bar.
Oh.
So we thought we were like cool, like there's a pool table, and like we would like dance around like we were like young ladies at the bar. We thought we were really cool.
Do you remember being like 10 years old with a crop top and feeling like you were the coolest person on the planet?
Yes. And I remember my mom being like, do you like boys? When I would like, because she let me get a crop top, and I was like, no. And she's like, okay, just making sure, because I was like so like yes
crop top
about
butterfly
myself.
Clips, everything's coming back, by the way. I know this isn't news, but I was at the beach on Sunday and there were girls, everybody had a bucket hat.
And I have a bucket hat. Maybe I'll wear it one episode. It matches my shoes. It's a checkered one.
I have a pink cashmere bucket hat that my grandma just had in her closet for like
Okay, we're going to have a bucket hat episode.
And then I saw girls
with
Y2K
episode. We'll have a throwback from our childhood.
Yes. With the bandanas. Remember the bandanas?
Yes.
There were girls wearing bandanas at the beaches. I said, oh my God, it's like...
That's how we know we're getting older.
Yeah. But I think it's fun.
No, I love it. Because I remember my mom being my age and her saying things like that.
Yes, like, just wait, it's all going to come back.
Yeah, because I was like... So when my mom was 29, I was 8. So I remember her like me wanting certain things, and she'd be like, oh my god, this is from when I was like a kid or whatever. It's just funny how fashion just continues to cycle through and through and through.
So the moral is keep your clothes.
Yeah.
Put them in a box. They'll be trendy again in about 20
I'm just praying that low-rise jeans don't come back.
If they do, I'm not going to wear them.
Nope, I'll be the old lady with her dorky high-rise jeans forever.
Yeah.
It's so unflattering. Oh my god. And uncomfortable.
I mean, I remember they were flattering when I had like a 12-year-old body. But I don't know if they would be flattering on me now.
I literally have the world's longest torso. I have 2 extra vertebrae. Did you know that?
What? How many does the normal person have?
I don't know. I just know I have 2 extra.
Comment below. How many
vertebrae do you have? Okay, this is actually really funny because I have a very long torso. I'm 5'10", but I do have long legs because I'm tall, but my height's actually in my torso, so my legs probably aren't that much longer than yours.
Okay.
Honestly, we'll have to check. We'll take a photo of us with our hands on our hips and we'll put it here. Like I do have like I have, it's actually something I've been self-conscious about for a long time because as a dancer,
it's about the legs.
It's about the legs,
yeah.
And in a leotard you can really see how long my torso was, and I hated my legs forever. I accept them now for what they are. I'm grateful that they're beautiful and work, and they are long because I'm tall. But anyways, my mom used to always joke. She's like, you must have extra vertebrae. And we were like, haha, yeah, probably. We didn't know.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to count. We'll count after this episode, I'll be like 1, 2.
One of them is too low for you to count it because it goes down into your tailbone.
Oh.
I'll explain in a moment.
I thought you meant like it's like near my butt. I'm like, I'll count it. I don't care.
Well, I'll explain. Okay. You can count them all. You can get in there. We're close.
True friends count all the vertebrae.
But I've been going to the chiropractor my whole life because I have very, very mild scoliosis. Never had to wear a brace or anything. Just need to get aligned every so often. And so you'd think that a chiropractor would have figured this out. No, I get a severe back injury like maybe like 4 years ago, and I go to a chiropractor this is when I was living in Santa Barbara, like shortly after I moved to California, and she x-rays before she does anything, and she's like, very interesting, did you know you have 2 extra vertebrae? And I was like, I fucking knew it. I was like, no, I didn't, but that's very funny because I have a very long torso. My mom used to always joke about that. So they're not the big, they kind of get smaller as you go down. One of them is in my low back, which actually makes sense. As a dancer, I would always get frustrated because my back wasn't very flexible. Mine
isn't either.
My lower back, so okay, we'll just do this. This is like, let's say this is like right above my butt, and then like this is my butt. I'm showing on my hand if you're listening.
Sadie has just taken her pants off and is showing
I just look at my bare butt. So right above my butt and my lower back, I have an extra vertebrae there, which causes my spine not be able to bend at all backwards because there's an extra vertebrae in there. It makes sense.
I must have no, I'm just not very flexible.
And so I was like, oh God. I was like, damn it, that's why all of these things are starting to make sense of the things that frustrated me when I was a dancer. And then she's like, yeah, and then the other one, she's like, you might not want to tell people this. It's on the tip of my tailbone, so I have a little tail.
You have a tail?
It's completely internal. I have nothing sticking out of my body.
Sadie has a tail.
She's like, it means you're not fully, evolutionized.
Oh my God.
So I have a tail plus an extra one in my lower back.
I want to see your tail later.
I'll have to find my x-rays. I think I have it. But I was like, how did no one figure this out before? I didn't learn that until I was like 25 or 26.
I'm pretty sure I have a third nipple.
Really?
Yeah.
Where?
I'll show you.
Let me see the picture.
No.
I'm just kidding. My tail. And what freaky things do you guys have? This episode is taking a turn. No, dead serious. We'll keep it anonymous. Tell us your weird things on your body. We want to know. We love and embrace it all. I'm super curious. Everyone's got something. Everyone's got something. And the thing is there's someone out there who thinks that's really cool and digs it.
I know. I've been looking for a girl like you with a tail.
But another thing that is weird about my body, but is cool, is that I was born with no wisdom teeth. So in that aspect,
You're super evolutionized.
Yeah, they just didn't. I just wasn't born with them, so I never had to deal with wisdom teeth surgery.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. I had all 4, and God knows how, they were not like a vertical tooth. They were all horizontal. They grew in like this.
Ouch.
So those had to go.
Yeah.
That wasn't a fun.
Yeah, I never had them. Procedure. But then I also had a birth defect with my bladder and my ureters and my kidneys, so I had to get surgery on that. So I'm like, I did my time with the pain and the stuff.
I know, me too. I had hernias.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. So tell us all about you. Where did you have a hernia? No, I'm just kidding.
How many hernia surgeries did you have?
If you have an interesting something, we'd love to hear from you. You don't have to comment below if you want to be private about it, but we'd love to hear. We just think it's interesting.
Magic, mindset, manifestation, and strange things with your body. That's our brand.
I love it. I just think it's fun and interesting as human beings. Like our bodies are all the same, but also completely different, you know?
Yeah.
It's just crazy that there's millions and billions of us, and we're all not, and no one's exactly the same, you know? I don't know. It's just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're all really space, so, you know? 99% space. Okay. Well, anyways.
From tales, from a real tale to a tale about being fearlessly tapping into your magic. That's how I bridged those two together.
There we go. Smooth transition.
Got my notes.
How did we even start talking about that?
I don't know. Comment below. How did we start?
How did we start talking about that? Tails.
We're gonna have some fun after this episode. I'll be like, show me your tail. Show me your third nipple.
Oh my god.
Which no one has told me, but I am 99%
Does it just kind of look like a mole?
No, it looks like a nipple.
Does it have an areola around it? Wow, cool. That's cool. It's like
I mean they describe it as like a raised mole, but I've seen where the mammary lines line up, and it's just right. It's in the perfect spot. When I get pregnant someday, it's gonna, like, my leg's gonna start lactating. I'll let you guys know.
I'll let you know. I can't wait.
I'll sell my leg milk on the black market. Okay, this is getting gross.
Leg milk. Someone's going to be into that, Juliet. Don't you worry.
Okay. My dad is our producer of this, and he's going to say, sorry, I've heard too much. Okay. So, fearlessly tapping into your magic.
Yes.
This is something that I think that that everyone needs to know how to do. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing.
I know, I'm like totally
bodies.
Derailed. I have no idea what I said before.
Okay, recentering.
Well, okay, so this is one reason I want to talk about this is because I am relaunching my signature course, Discover Divine Purpose.
Ooh.
And it's essentially a deeper dive into what I want to talk about today, because our purpose in life is to just simply be our most authentic self.
Yeah.
And that will lead us to be living in alignment, to know what we want, what we desire. We'll know where our passions lie. If you feel like totally lost, like, I don't even know what I like, I don't even know what I would want to do, it's because you're not honoring. You have some layers to dig through to, like, let the true you come back out. And that's totally normal. It's part of the process of being a human being, is that we're supposed to, like, remember who we are through the journey of life. So I just wanted to have a little chat about it. Like, how do you go about it? I think the things that stop us the most often are judgment from ourselves and the fear of judgment from others. So I want to talk about that. And, you know, what happens when you start honoring and living in your magic.
Yes. So a thought that came through me today was, fearlessly tapping into your magic is a radical form of self-love. It's something that I would say, if I were to guess a percentage, I think 90% of people could tap into their magic, and maybe only 10% of all people are really truly doing this.
Yeah.
Which is something that we need to change, like as a collective. I also wanted to talk a little bit about what we mean when we say fearless and what we mean when we say magic. So for fearless living is not about waiting until the day when we're all of a sudden afraid of nothing. That usually only happens after like a crazy near-death experience. And you don't need to have that happen in order to live fearlessly.
And if you're waiting for that day to come, if you're going to wait for the day to come where you don't feel fear anymore, I have bad news for you. It's not going to happen.
Right.
It's just not.
So fearless living is about seeing the fear. Oh, okay, the fear is coming up. I'm noticing my ego saying this. I'm hearing lots of doubt. I'm hearing lots of what if in a negative way. And fearless living is noticing all of that, not attaching to it, not identifying with it, not letting it control you, noticing it and saying, that's fine. You can hop on the bus, but I've got my hands on the wheel, and you can talk the whole ride. You can say, I don't think this is going to work because I mean, fine. Just put your seatbelt on. The bus is moving forward. That's to me what fearless living is.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like all right. I have more to add to it. It's an important step when you're like, okay, everything they're saying sounds great. I'm ready to face my fear and live fearlessly like they're saying. But how the heck do I do that? Go back to I think we referenced this episode a lot, but it was just such a good one. Go back to our How to Be Psychic episode or work with one of us, because it's really one of the first steps and one of the things that actually were not handed to me as one of the first steps, and it made the biggest difference. Everything clicked once I was given this step. Was, hey, you got to understand the conversation between your ego and your intuition. We're gonna sound like a broken record with some of this because it's so important. Like, your intuition is going to hand you thoughts and ideas that may make you feel fearful, but in an exciting way, I can't do that, like it's going to be scary, but in a adventurous way. The ego hands you the fear of scarcity, to the fear of like, I can't do that. Who am I to do that? I'm not capable. I'm not worthy. I'm not smart enough. I'm not focused enough. I'm not motivated enough. So understanding those two different conversations that are going on in your head, that's how you get to a point where you are able to live fearlessly, where you're able to say, hey, ego, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I accept you. But I'm going to go for it anyways. And it makes me laugh. There's a trend on like TikTok and Reels of like someone doing something and then they show them picking up their coffee mug and their hands like shaking, but they did it anyways. That's how it feels like. Even to this day, sometimes when I'm, putting out a post, I get nervous, even though it's nothing radical or something that someone's gonna get upset about. But I'm just like sharing something vulnerable, or launching a new course or relaunching a course or whatever. Yeah, I still get those conversations go through my head. Why would anyone want this? Who am I to do this? Am I charging too much? Am I charging too little? The conversations are gonna be going on in there forever and ever and ever, but you just get better at saying like, oh no I'm gonna keep moving forward anyways. So to be fearless is not to feel fearless, it's to feel the fear and continue to move forward.
And if it's something that you don't want to do, you're not going to feel fear around it. For example, like if you said to me, Juliet, do you want to pitch for a Major League Baseball team? Like, I feel absolutely nothing when you say that. I'm like, no, like complete apathy. Do you want to go into corporate America? No, like nothing triggers me. If Sadie said, do you want to share your music with a really wide audience and also be like sort of a motivational speaker and a mother and like, that's when but what if that's when that will all start to come in. And also another way to notice what you really want is keep an eye out for who you feel, and I hate this feeling, but it is an indicator. See who you feel jealous and even a little resentful towards.
That. Yeah.
Because that is an indicator of what you want and what you're not giving yourself permission to go for. I don't feel that feeling too often because I am very much like in alignment with what I want to be doing. But there were many times when it was like, you feel that like ache in your gut, and it's like, no, well, that person, and it's like, no, you just want it. That's an indicator that you want it. And the only difference between that wonderful person and you as a wonderful person is that person's going for it. That person's making it happen. And there's no reason why you can't make it happen as well.
Yeah, I actually, this past week, that was something I meant to, that was going to be a weekly update, but it makes sense to talk about here. I've been examining my own triggers because, yeah, exactly. When you're scrolling through Instagram or, you know, Twitter or whatever your place to be is, or on YouTube, or maybe even sometimes when we say things, maybe it triggers you.
Right.
So I've been examining my triggers. And the first thing to ask yourself is whatever they're saying going against my values? Because we can be triggered when someone goes against our values. And that is very valid, of course.
Correct.
But often the answer is no. And I'm like, okay, so I'm simply just being annoyed by a person, you know, why? Every single time I can pick out, oh, because they're able to do that more confidently than I am. They're able to sell more than I am. And it seems easier than the way I do it. And I don't know how to do it like that or something. And then immediately I stop, you know, judging or being annoyed, and I can carry on with my day, because our triggers are just us looking in the mirror at something that we don't like in ourselves, a weakness, some sort of excuse we've made that somebody's not abiding by that rule that you made for yourself. And you're like, well, why don't they have to follow that rule? So examine who triggers you and go up against it. If people are still triggering you, don't follow them and whatever, mute them. But there's a lot of value in our triggers, and when it's not what I first described of like, if of course if someone's has different values than you, just get rid of them. But like mute them, block them, unfollow them, whatever. But if it's something where they're doing something good and touch toes on accident, and there's, ask yourself, why am I annoyed right now? Why am I triggered right now? Why am I upset right now? I'll bet you it's because it's something that is questioning the way you've been living, or you're just simply like, I wish I could be like that. And then guess what? You get to be like that. You can be like that. And all it takes is the decision, and then the intuitive guidance follows after you decide something. Definitely your intuition will lead you to the answer on how to learn to be like that, or simply the confidence. And it's a process. It's not always like that. Sometimes it is, but I have lately been spending time on that as sort of a shadow work exercise of like, who are some of these influencers and stuff that maybe I used to follow and unfollowed, and kind of like searching them out and like scrolling through and seeing what makes me feel annoyed, and really sitting in it. And I've like learned a lot about like, oh, I can do this differently in my business. I can show up in this way differently. Like, I get to do that. It's fine. Why can't I? Why did I decide I can't? And then I get to be, no, I'm not going to judge others for doing it. I'm going to do it too, or whatever the thing is. So there's so much value in your triggers.
I have a great example, and I'll wrap up the triggers with this. But the people that I think trigger women more than anything I've ever seen, or just people. I mean, I see people like men triggered by this too. The Kardashians trigger people in such a way. I look at them and I think, oh my gosh, these women are brilliant. They leverage the heck out of an opportunity.
I talk about this all the time. I'm like, yeah, it's so stupid to be haters on them. They're billionaires and multimillionaires. They're brilliant. They make money off of you hating them.
But people get so mad because how they make money and how they make lots of money and how they make an impact is not in alignment with the values they were taught. People get mad like they're famous for nothing, or because none of them sing, dance, do a skill. Do you know what I mean? But
they still work hard.
They're brilliant business people.
Yeah.
And then people say, oh, well, they had a TV show. How many thousands of people have had a TV show?
And who wants a TV show like that about their lives? That's a lot. So that's like a big thing that they give up their, like that's not playtime all the time, them doing nothing. They're staging stuff. They have to look and play the part every time the cameras are there. Like, that's hard work. Yeah. They're not just going about their days.
So I find that people who particularly aren't happy with the way they earn money have a lot, or wish they could earn more, have a lot of disdain towards that family.
Yep.
And whereas I feel totally inspired by them. Am I going to live exactly like them and do all the procedures, which is totally fine to do? Personally, I won't. But I just think they're so brilliant. But if you listening to me is like, nah, like they're just, they should be donating all their money. Like they are the most triggering family for this entire country, I believe. And I think
because they make money being themselves and how they want to be.
Correct. And so if that is something that irritates you, there is a part of you that wants to show up more as yourself and earn more as yourself. And that's what I'm going to say about that.
It's a brilliant example. I always think it's hilarious when people hate on them. Like,
good for them.
I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. If someone wants to follow me around and I become a billionaire, that's fine.
Didn't it all start with like a tape that was leaked?
Yes.
Talk about turning a lemon into
the Kim and Ray
lemonade. Just brilliant. I think they're just brilliant.
I mean, yeah, like who cares?
Like that. I always think that any other woman maybe would have been like, I shouldn't say any other woman. Another woman might have been like, that's it, I'm disappearing. I don't want anything to do with the world.
Exactly.
But she was like, well, let's just leverage this and make something great out of it.
It's the mom. What's her name? She's the brilliance behind all of it. Kris Jenner. She manages her daughters. She knows how to... Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're perfect. I don't know. No. I don't know their life.
We're not saying we love everything about them. We just love that, like...
Good for you.
If they can do that and become rich and famous, I don't care so much about being famous, but like, oh, they're just themselves and they became filthy rich. I can be rich by being myself. Cool. That just proves a great point.
Yeah. And that's an example of fearless living.
I would love to hear if you want to DM us or comment somebody that triggers you. Maybe it's the Kardashians or someone else. Like famous, and as we're talking, if you've had a realization of what triggers you about them and that you kind of feel like you can release now, I'm super curious, because I'm sure there's a few listeners that are on the fence about the Kardashians that they're triggered. I'm curious to hear, or anyone else,
but there's a reason why.
But I used to feel that way about the Kardashians too, and then I realized that and I was like, oh no, good for them, great.
So when we talk about tapping into your magic, there's different things we mean by magic. Sadie does a very literal version of magic, like in her witchy way. Showing up as an artist, sharing your art as a form of magic, doing your unique hobby as a form of magic, starting your offbeat business or your onbeat business, just starting your business as a form of magic, running with an idea, like the woman who created Spanx. I don't know her name, but I watched her masterclass as a form of magic. Just fearlessly tapping into basically like where your passions lie, where your zone of genius lies, and not shoving it down.
It makes me sad to think about, because I was there for so long, not, tapping into my magic, and how like yucky that felt, and how I felt and this is why I created my course, Discover Divine Purpose, because I wanted to know my purpose so badly. Like I would cry about it. I would have anxiety attacks about it. Because I just felt totally lost, and like I don't even know what I would do if I could do anything, like that kind of thing. That's why this is so important to me. And I lost my train of thought.
Oh, like your own style of magic?
Yeah. So, okay. I got it. I got it back. I'm like, I'm just thinking about my course, and I'm like, I'm so happy I figured out that that's what I wanted to make. But what's interesting is my magic was to go through that, to feel so upset and so triggered by like not knowing my purpose, so that I like my magic is to help others find their purpose. And more recently discovering that I can combine all of my different magics, my being a witch, into the mindset and magic form. What do you like magic? What do you like? Like, what do you like? I didn't get that for so long. I thought my purpose had to be like, I thought my magic had to be something heroic and honorable.
Right.
And
right.
I mean, not that what I'm doing now isn't heroic and honorable. It's super honorable, whatever. But it's just so much simpler than you think.
I never had like a massive struggle with what my purpose is because I never thought about it. I just
thought about it so much.
I just knew what I loved to do more than anything. And that's what you're saying. It's one and the same. I knew what I loved to do more than anything. And from the time I was 15, 16, I was putting my music online. I was driving around anywhere that would let me sing, and just nonstop. I was so tenacious of like, I am going to make a career in this industry. And my purpose is, I didn't even think like that. It's so interesting. But now I think my purpose is to do what makes me happy and live a creative life and show others that that's possible.
I think the reason I struggled and it was so potent for me is because I spent from like age 3 to age 18 being like a serious dancer and taking 20 hours of class a week on top of high school. And that was my whole identity. And then I knew that like I was a good dancer, but I wasn't like a professional level dancer. And as you heard, I had a lot of body issues, too tall, not flexible enough, all that stuff. So it just wouldn't have been realistic. I could have been a dance teacher, but I didn't feel a calling to that. And so when I was supposed to, well, I mean, I went to college not when I was supposed to. When I went to college, I felt so fucking lost. And like so much pressure from my parents to...
What did you major in?
I studied retail.
You studied your degrees in like...
Retail. Business.
Wow.
Business from the retail side. Because
I didn't know that.
Got a job in retail and I was like, I guess I'll just study this. Because I didn't... So my first thing I wanted to do was just go to school for dance. And my parents were like, no, we're not going to help you pay for that if you choose that. So I was like, all right. And then I went to school and I went to UW-Madison and they had this really cool program for freshmen, and they called it FIGS, which was first year interest groups. And it was for people that were undecided that wanted to like try out some stuff. So you would have like 3 classes with the same group of kids and you could pick like an interest. So I picked the Russian one because I had Russian dance teachers growing up. And I just thought, Russia's super interesting. They have a dramatic long history and all this stuff. So that include like whatever you could pick a different thing. So it would always have like a language, a social class, and like a history class about the area. So I took Russian language and I stuck with it for 2 semesters. And I told my parents, I want to major in Russian. You can get paid very well for being a translator. I wanted to go study abroad in Russia. I wanted to become professional level. Like if you work for the government and you speak business level Russian, you make so much money. I thought that would please my parents. That's what they cared about, was like security, you know? Got shot down. They were like, no, absolutely not.
No Russian for you.
I was like, what the hell? And I knew that they would not accept anything except for me studying business. And then I got my first retail job actually I worked a retail job in high school, but my first like job in college at Urban Outfitters. And I was like getting promoted really quickly there. I became the youngest women's manager in the company.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm really good at working in retail. I just don't like it.
I feel that way about teaching preschool and
yeah, I do like it. I was always a visual merchandiser and I do like doing that, but I don't like I get like very in the zone. That's why I liked going to the Crystal store at like 6 a.m. I like just doing the display
and being done.
Not dealing with anything else. But there's always, you have to do other stuff too. Anyway, so I was like, all right, I guess I'll just do retail because I'm doing so well at this job. I'm getting promoted really fast. I guess I'll just study retail business. So whatever. I studied business and it was boring and I hated it. And I didn't even finish that degree. I dropped out of UW-Madison. My mom was getting sick. So I ended up finishing online. And it was just general business, I think. I don't even know because I cared so little. I had a few classes to do and I think it just ended up being like a general business degree.
That's cool that you have a business degree, though.
Yeah.
I don't know why I never asked you that.
But I never...
Do you know what my degree was in?
Music? I don't know. I never asked you either.
World Arts and Cultures.
See, that I would have loved. And the thing is, college is really cool and there's really interesting classes. And it doesn't matter what you major in. I could have majored in anything and had a retail career that I excelled in. I didn't need to... It makes me so mad because I was taking all those Russian classes. I took a vampires in literature and film class that blew me away. There was this joke that the teacher was an actual vampire. His name was Tomislav, and he was from the Czech Republic. And they would take trips to like vampire place. I did actually end up going to Transylvania. I'm very into vampire history and folklore. But there's cool, this is my point. There's cool classes like that. I could have majored in like history. I love learning about history. I could have majored in English. I love writing. I love reading. But no, my parents made me with the threat of not helping me at all. I just felt like I didn't have the option. Now I know I could have figured it out, but I didn't think that back then. They made me do something I didn't want. So any of you entering college, put up a fight because honestly, employers only care about the degree if you have a global workforce. And if you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, I get that. You have to do something more specific. But if you're kind of like, I don't know, but I know I want to go into the professional workforce, listen to me. Study what sounds interesting and fun to you because they only care that you graduated. It shows commitment and they don't really care about anything else because university degrees, the point of it is that you're well-rounded, that you studied a little bit of math and a little bit of history and a little bit of this, and the major doesn't matter. It makes me so mad. Like I would love to go back to college and just study vampires or whatever. That's my passionate little...
Ooh, I feel like we got through to some new layers of Sadie just now. I had no idea you had a business degree. It makes, well, you know what? In a weird way, it's coming full circle because now you run a business.
Yeah.
And, it's funny how
I don't think any of it's useful, though. I'll tell you, the only useful business knowledge I have is from actually working in business and not from a degree. They teach you business law. Oh my God, most boring class of my life. Never once have I had to know a business law, and I don't remember any of them. Like what? Just silly classes.
I think I was so committed to I loved school. I was definitely like the more school, the better. Like I really loved it always. And for me, I was sort of an anomaly because I knew that I was going to end up doing music. Yeah. But I did enjoy school and I wanted a degree. So I figured I might as well just study something that interests me. I'm so jealous. Because I'm going to go back to music anyway. You're triggering me, Juliet. No, you're not triggering me, but I'm jealous. No, I did get to take fun classes and I had the college experience at a very fun, good school, UW-Madison. Go Badgers. Badgers. So no, it's okay. And, my whole journey is absolutely perfect because it prepared me to run a business myself. But think about people who have access to like what we're talking about now and all this information. Like you can start fearlessly tapping into your magic like from 15 on. Yeah. I mean, I started at 15. Yeah. It's good. We have two exampps. Right. Yeah. I started super, super young and I just figured mine out like last year. And I also had two parents, they were alive. I have two wonderful parents who, my dad had a really successful musician career. He did music. And my mom had her own photography business. So I sort of grew up seeing that like you can work for yourself and you can make it happen, like whatever you want. And my whole dad's side of the family is very much like that as well. Like everyone sort of created these careers for themselves. So I feel really lucky that I never had that pressure of like, oh, you're majoring in that, you want to do that. Like I never had that, which I think because I've had to go through so many other things, like God just gave me a break there.
Yeah.
You know, like I just got a break in that department.
That's a really important part of finding your magic, I think, is looking back to your parents and like your family and seeing like where did your beliefs come from around like what your magic could be or like what you're allowed to do. Because both of my parents had traditional jobs. I don't think anyone in my family are like, my uncle's an entrepreneur, but he's a pharmacist. Like he started a pharmacy. So it wasn't like an artistic sort of venture, you know, something offbeat, like being a witch for a living, you know. I don't have any examples of that in my family. And it's interesting because I am kind of carrying through what my mom was working on her whole life, because I saw her trying out different possible businesses, and all along she was a nurse, but trying these different ventures, trying these different things, trying to find herself the way I did. And like it's just, it feels like such a way to honor her that like I kept going with that, and like I got mine. I nailed it. I figured it out. But yeah, like she didn't really have examples of that from her family. And my dad's side, he grew up on a farm with 8 other siblings. There's 9 of them. And they were like, didn't have a lot of money and stuff. So to him, his priority was go to college and get a really like stable, safe job, because he grew up like working so hard and not having a lot. And he was like, oh, I'm going to like, my value, what I've been taught is like the corporate world is so safe and so secure, and you get so much from it. So it's worth it. So that's kind of where his mindset comes from. So to me, I just had no one to show me that you could do whatever you want and make money. So it took me a little bit.
Isn't it interesting, like the difference in this is such a great example of like where our beliefs come from, because I always grew up, nobody ever like flat out said to me all the time, like, you can be whatever you want. I didn't hear, but I saw by example that, oh, you want to make money as an actor, you want to make money as an agent, you want to make money as a singer, you want to make money as a musician, you want to make money as a photographer, you want to be your own boss. Yeah, we all do that. Like that's something that we all do. And we have a house and we have food and stuff like that. And so it never entered my mind that wasn't a possibility for me. But I think I'm an insane exception to that rule. Like I think most artists grow up in a home where people say things like, you don't really want, that's not safe. You don't really want to do that, right?
Like that's a hobby. That's not a career.
Yeah, I never, sometimes people would say that to me, like, oh, music will be a good hobby for you. And I always...
Or like a side hustle.
I never liked that. I always thought people were being, without meaning to, very insulting. Because I'm like, why do you think that or they would say, if you can see me, you'll enjoy this moment of the video. They would say, how's music? And they would tilt their head as if somebody died.
And if you can see me, I'm making 2 fists.
And I would say, it's going really good. And they would go, oh, and they were always surprised. And I just always had this belief. So this is something you can do to tap into your magic. Somebody out there's doing it. Somebody out there's making money doing it. Somebody out there bought a house with it. Somebody out there is very happy. Somebody out there doesn't have to go to a 9-to-5. Why not me?
I think that's a good lead into what I want to talk about is like how to handle your family questioning you and friends questioning you, because it sucks. And you're at a point when you finally decide to like do you and go, I found my magic and I know what I want to do with it, or I have at least an idea, and I'm not afraid of failing. I'm going to keep trying until I figure it out. You're in that place. That's a really vulnerable place. And then when a family member or a close friend looks down on it or doubts it or thinks lowly of it, you're already in a very vulnerable space, and it hurts, and you just can't let it pull back. You can't let it dim your shine or however you want to put it, because the world needs your magic. I really believe our desires, our talents, our gifts, our life experiences that lead us into, you know, what our magic is. For example, me is having so much hyper focus on my purpose was for a reason.
Yeah.
All of this is like divinely handed to us, and how dare you not honor it, right?
Yeah.
So don't let that stuff hold you back. I have one example of just something recently, like, so I grew up in a Catholic family, so most of my family is Catholic, and you know, I'm a witch now. Ooh.
Scary.
Fearing for my soul. And a family member questioned my use of tarot cards, saying, I'm worried about your spirit. And that was I handled it very well, but on the inside I got so mad. I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. Right? And it was okay. Like, it's just because they don't know. And like, I get it. Maybe, you know, once upon a time I would have thought that when I was younger or something too. If so, like in my case, very extreme, like someone thinks something I'm doing is like evil or something. It doesn't matter. I know it's not, right? I know that when I give tarot readings, I'm actually giving them beautiful divine messages that support and heal. And I just said the example of like, look, a knife can be used to murder somebody and a knife can be used to slice bread. If a person with evil intent uses tarot cards or calls in an evil presence, or not even evil, I don't even truly believe in good and evil. It's more like low vibrational energies and high vibrational energies. Then tarot cards are bad. But if someone with, you know, good intent and beautiful intent and whatever, you know, then it's a good tool. So anyways, that was one example of something that triggered me recently and didn't feel very nice or supportive of what I do. Tarot cards aren't the end all be all of my business, but it is an important part. And but on a lighter note, my dad finally, I think I said this already, my dad finally stopped asking me how my job search is going.
You're like, oh yeah, I've just been scrolling through Indeed every day.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that too, for a long time, like, it sucks. Like, you want to be like, Dad, I just had this new idea to start this business. And the answer you want to hear is like, great, what can I do to support you? You know, but instead it's like, all right, well, just make sure you're not blowing through your savings and you are still looking for a job and, you know, blah, blah. And it's just like, thanks for believing in me, you know? So don't let someone not believing in you, don't let someone questioning what you're doing. You know your intent. You know the reason you're doing it. You know that it's made for you. And if you ever need support, like, reach out to me, because I've been through a lot of it. I've faced a lot of it. I continue to face some of it. So I'm here for you. But it's just like, it feels shitty, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you matter to you. We all have to be sort of selfish human beings in that sense.
Here's some things I'll say about this. The first is that if you can zoom way out, there's two things going on. The person probably does care about you to some degree. Okay. That's number one.
It's like the ego.
Yes.
It's like trying to keep you safe. Yeah.
And number two, well, there's a few things. That's number one. Number two is your choices are bringing up their own beliefs, fears, and insecurities. They don't believe that they could run a successful business. They don't believe that they could do what you're doing.
You are the Kardashian to them.
You are the Kim Kardashian.
You're doing something right.
That's really what it is. Because anybody who's ever looked at me and said, yeah, like that is one thing I've always heard, like, oh, music's really hard out there and like it's a nice hobby, but don't, you know, put all your eggs in that basket. Those aren't people who are like full-time creatives and thriving, and they're people who are settling and
wish
that's their experience. Yeah. So I would just say when that happens, and I don't have the personal experience of mom or dad saying this to me, I can imagine that's really hard, but I have heard it many times in my life. Just zoom out. At some level, they care about you. Thank you for caring about me. And at some level, it's showing you what they don't believe is possible for them, and you're triggering them in a way. And they just know what they know. know. Everybody just knows what they know.
Exactly.
And just about every single time that I've said I'm going to do something and then I do it and it's successful, people go, oh my God, wow. And they kind of change their tune because then it's like they're proven wrong, but in like a really nice way. I'll also say that people's compliments, people's feedback in general, whether it's negative or positive, you cannot cash that in as currency in the world in which you do your work. Whether they say something negative to you, I don't believe that's possible, or something positive, like if you're craving some validation, none of that means anything when you sit down to do your work, when you tap into your magic, when you bring forward what you want to bring forward. It's all just noise at the end of the day. And it feels good to be praised and it feels bad to be insulted, but none of it really... you can't cash it in either way. It's not doesn't mean anything.
And I think that's when you'll find the most success, is when you stop searching for the compliment or stop trying to avoid the judgment, and you simply just show up the way that you want to show up. And you know, as you know, like us, we're here doing a podcast. Like we show up to this podcast as though we have 1 million listeners. Like we're not going to show up like, oh, poor us, we only have 100. I'm so excited. We have 100 subscribers. That's a lot, actually. Thank you. But you know, like 100. But like, we're not like, oh, we only have 100, so we're not going to try that hard until we get to 1 million or something. No, we're going to show up as though we have, you know, you guys are so much beautiful energy. It's like having 100 million listeners, but you know, like show up as though the goal has already been attained. When I try and remember this, like for Instagram too, like I'm going to show up as though I have 100,000 followers, or, you know, like just show up as though all those people that are meant for you have already found you. And that's how you like magnetize yourself to the people that are going to honor your magic and like be excited by your magic and be attracted to your magic. So yeah, I would just say, so I wrote down, we talked about pushing past fear and following your intuition. We just talked about family and friends maybe judging you, what you might hear. Just try to spin it. Just like, that's nice that they just say, you know what, thank you so much, I'll think about that. That's a good way to diffuse it. A lot of the judgment is is just
and then move on.
fearing that what you're doing isn't going to be successful, and they're worried about you, but it sucks still, but it's just like, thank you for caring about me, I'm fine. I'm more than fine, I'm fucking great. I just love like diffusing it and removing and disengaging. Thank you so much, I'll think about that. And just I also want to say, I feel like I talk about my dad a lot as being like a doubter, and he's not at all. He's not a hater. He's not a doubter. He cares so much, and I'm a worrier, and I get it from him. He's a worrier, and he loves me so much. He's like, this would be safer, you know. It's not that he doesn't believe in me or something. I just want to say that because my dad's so fucking generous and loving and supportive, and so I never want to portray him in a way where he's like poo-pooing me or anything. I don't
think you are. I mean, to be fair, any dad where you're like, hey dad, I'm gonna move to the beach in California and become a full-time witch is probably gonna be like, I'm a little concerned for you. Like, that's not
with a comedian. I know he was like, does he really make enough money? Like, yeah, he's doing great.
It's so funny how that works.
To people with unconventional jobs.
I wrote down putting pressure on yourself and expectations on yourself. I don't remember what I meant by that, but I think just like,
Juliet, we have 100 million listeners waiting to hear about putting pressure on ourselves. Okay, go.
Oh no, go. You go.
Well, I was gonna say, I think the pressure is like, okay, I figured out what my passion is. I'm listening to my intuition to give me some guidance, and then expecting to be successful right away.
Right. It has to be perfect. I can't make mistakes. I can't slip. I can't trip.
And then letting that make you give up, or just like not move as quickly, or be like really hesitant. Success comes when you listen to the intuitive guidance and you go. And sometimes your intuition might lead you to a failure, but I feel like that is because there's something we need to learn from that failure before we're ready for the intuitive nudge to the right thing. Because all of the times like I've tried stuff and failed, it's either just narrowed down for me like, oh, I thought that might be what my passion was, but it turns out I got kind of bored of it quickly. Or oh, like that turns out I just want that to be a hobby instead of my business, whatever. Or just trying something and failing, and then it made me do the next thing better because I learned the lesson there. I just, you know, we talk so much about following your intuition. It's a muscle that you have to practice. It never steers you wrong. I really believe that. When it steers you to a failure, you don't need to know the reason, or you don't need to know like, oh, this was clearly the lesson in this failure. Just trust it's meant for you. Maybe you're going to meet someone through that failure. Maybe you're going to come across, I don't know, some new system when you try out that failure. I don't know, but there's always something there.
Can I just say, anytime that I have ignored my intuition, I don't know if we've talked about this, and did the logical thing, I always got very sick, very injured. There was like something that's how I got kicked back onto my path. So like, you know, I got out of college and was like, okay, I'm gonna be I don't know, anytime that I put music to the back burner and was like, I'll be a full-time assistant, I'll be a preschool teacher, I always got my butt kicked. So these things might be happening to you and you're like, why do I keep getting sick at work? Why do I keep getting in car accidents? There's something it's a sign that something needs to shift into alignment, and there's like this force trying to wake you up. That's my perspective.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I used to have severe chronic anxiety. I used to have severe insomnia.
Wow.
Never could sleep. And as soon as I got in alignment, I do have anxiety, but very minimal, manageable. Comes in cycles, so it'll be bad for like a day, but it's usually because I'm not like taking care of my, you know, I fell out of my daily routine or something. It's because I'm being told like, hey, you're not in alignment. I sleep like a baby unless my cats wake me up at 5 a.m. It's just incredible. Like your body tells you when you're not in alignment. So if you're struggling with certain like health or mental issues, like I'm not saying this is going to cure everything, but examine like how you're living your life out of alignment and you'll be incredibly amazed. It might not be 100%. Like I said, I still have some anxiety, but like going from having like anxiety attacks once a week to having them like once a year, that's a pretty good improvement. I don't take medication or anything differently now.
I do.
I never went and got it. I should have. Actually, when I was on birth control, it helped my anxiety a lot.
My Lexapro is a form of fearlessly tapping into my magic.
Well, that's something like, don't be afraid though to ask for that kind of help if you need it, because without that you would be held back from tapping into your magic, because you would be held back by your anxiety. So there's all these different paths, and my path isn't the perfect path and your path isn't the perfect path. Fearlessly pursue what you need in order to feel more like you. Like that's the ultimate lesson. You're like, if you don't feel like yourself, if you feel like you don't know who you are, like, hey, let's figure that out.
I've sat down with a lot of therapists. I've tried a lot of different things, and some of the biggest, best work you can do is, what do I love to do and why am I not doing it every day? What do I love to do and what do I desire to do and why am I telling myself I can't do it? And you mix in a little of this and that and, you know, whatever I take every night, you know, like our bodies all need different things. But getting into alignment and doing what you want to do fearlessly, the feeling you get from that is a very different type of anxiety, other than like, because I had a lot of anxiety that I would feel, my body would feel like a tiger was chasing me all day long and everything was fine. It wasn't even triggered by thoughts. People would say, what are you thinking to cause this? I wasn't even thinking anything.
I just get like
I was just,
feeling
my
in
body was in
yeah.
like a fight or flight state for hours at a time. It was crazy. I don't know why, but it was. And but now the anxiety that I feel is excitement. It's nervousness. It's like this fun, oh my gosh, I get to push myself. I get to stretch myself. I get to share this part of myself that I haven't shared before. And it makes me a little nervous. And
yeah.
it's a fun type of anxiety. And I would never call anxiety fun. But
that anxiety isn't the word we're looking for. It's like nervous excitement.
Yes.
But it's a similar feeling. But like I always try to articulate, like it's like fun scary, not scary scary.
Correct.
It's exciting. Yeah.
So we just really wanted to put this episode together because your magic is whatever it is that makes you you. I just got a text. Your magic is whatever makes you you. Your magic is what you truly desire to do, what you truly love to do, something that maybe is hiding in your closet, hiding under your bed. If you are somebody who dresses a particular way even, and you're like, gosh, I really wish I could dress like that person. Start dressing like that person. Like,
that's a great point. Yeah.
Your magic doesn't have to be starting a business or being a witch or a singer-songwriter. It could be seeing things outside of you in the world and being afraid to step into those circles or those hobbies or those fashion senses or just anything. And it's about feeling nervous, but feeling more excited and knowing like, if they can do it, so can I. If she can have it, so can I. If she can earn it, so can I. If she can wear it, so can I. And a lot of common excuses we make, and this is, I think, how we'll end the episode, is like we say stories to ourselves like, well, it's possible for that person, but it's not possible for me. Or it's too late, or I'm too young, or I'm too old, or I don't have enough experience, or I waited too long, or it's just not my decade. If this was the 90s, it would have been easier. I mean,
I'm not smart enough. I don't know how. I figure it out.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out.
The only difference between you and any other person who has what you want is they made a decision, they could have it, and they figured it out. And that is fearlessly tapping into your intuition and your magic. Good night. No.
No, I think you made a good point that I kind of want to... Oh, we only have 10 more minutes.
I know. We have to wrap these at an hour 30.
Like the small steps that can help you be more you. And if you don't know the big who am I yet, like dressing maybe you haven't been dressing how you want to dress. You wish you could dress a different way. That's a tiny way to become more aligned, a tiny, easy way. I wanted long purple hair. I feel more like me today. I feel more like me having the options of this hair and my wigs in the closet. That's a silly example, but it's true. Like it's something that makes me feel more like me. I love it. So if you're like, I don't know the big who am I, like the way you dress or just the little hobby that you do that you need to commit more time to, or whatever it is, just find the little ways that to be more you and watch it build into one day the big realization. And it's amazing how you'll see seemingly unrelated things come together to become like what you do and who you are. It's really cool. And I wanted to say one more example of like something that I honored what I loved, and it wasn't my career, didn't turn out to be my career or a hobby, but it led me to Craig.
This is a great example.
So a way that I honored something about myself that I absolutely love, I love comedy. I always have stand-up comedy, and I was so excited to move to LA, one of the hubs of stand-up comedy in the whole world. And I moved here, and I didn't really have anyone to go to shows with because not everyone's interested in stand-up comedy. So I was like, you know what? I really like stand-up comedy. It's a show, so you're not really interacting with a friend anyways. I'm just going to go to the shows by myself. That was a way that made me feel more like me because I was doing something fun that I freaking loved. And I was so excited to go see live comedy. Like I literally never had barely been able to do it before because I didn't live in places that had it. So anyways, within 3 freaking weeks of doing that, once a week I would go to a live show all by myself. And then I met Craig, my freaking soulmate. I was living in alignment with who I was and what I loved and who I wanted to be. And it wasn't that I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but now my life is full of stand-up. And that's really cool because it's not like I stumbled upon it. Like I've always loved stand-up comedy.
And
interesting.
Think of all the things you could have told yourself. Oh, I could never go alone.
I gotta wait for a friend to come with me.
Oh, that would be weird if I went alone.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, no, I want to be the kind of person who goes to shows once a week. So no matter what, I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah.
And like now your life is completely different.
Now I get to like fly in an airplane and go to shows with my boyfriend who's the star of the show, and I'm like,
so cool.
Fuck yeah, that's my babe.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's funny how life plays out. So that's an example of like, if you love going somewhere or doing something, go do it. Maybe it'll lead you to a career, maybe it'll lead you to a partner, maybe it'll lead you to a best friend, who knows. Just do stuff that's freaking fun and you love, and who cares if you have someone to do it with, who cares if someone thinks it's silly. Just go do it.
Do it. Get it done.
And let us know, like, what's the thing that you've been putting off that you're going to honor now? Comment below or DM us. We'd love to hear from you. What are you like? Oh, I haven't been prioritizing that part of myself. I'm going to start dressing more like me. I'm going to start going and doing the thing. I'm going to start doing the hobby that I've been putting off. Let us know in the comments or DM us.
We cannot wait to hear what you say. And you have enough time in the day. Don't tell yourself the story. There's not enough time. That yes, there is.
Yes.
You will make time. It's all possible. And we're excited for you to have like a totally tapped in magical week.
Yes. And if you're interested in diving way, way deeper into all of this, and if you don't know what your magic is, like I didn't for a long time, please consider taking my course, Discover Divine Purpose. The first round was amazing, and I'm actually going to go in and add even more stuff to it, because since then I feel like I've grown so much. So it's going to be like re-recorded, bigger and better than ever. You actually get some bonuses that'll teach you some intro to witchcraft stuff too, because magic is a big part of my life, and you know, a lot of you are interested in it. If you, let's see, how am I going to do this? I'm going to have an early bird price. It's exclusive to my email list, but I also will give one to the goddesses. I'll post it down below, so it'll be a Goddess Hangs exclusive early bird price before it goes up forever and ever and ever. I'm never going to offer that low of a price again. So make sure you check it out, and don't be shy. Like, talk to me if you're not sure but you're interested. Like, I want to talk to you. I want to hear from you. Let's chat about it. If you're nervous about the investment, I get it. We've been there. We both took the leap, and this is a way lower investment, by the way, but just as good, maybe better of a course. So I'm excited to see you guys in it. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you so much. I'll have some fun offerings in the future.
Yes.
But get into Discovering Divine Purpose. People freaking loved it. It changed their lives.
It's a good first step into like really defining what you want.
Yeah.
And then you go from there, and like, I don't know, it just opens so many doors, I feel like.
It's a beautiful, beautiful, life-changing program. We love you guys so much. Thank you for interacting with us on Instagram.
Yes.
Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for DMing us. Thank you for your beautiful gifts. Thank you again, Tiffany. Rock Candy by Tiffany. Code GRATEFUL for 15% off.
Thank you for 100 subscribers.
Thank you,
I think we have 101 when we're recording, so who knows what we'll have next week.
Yeah, and next week is going to be Bring a Friend Week. Like, you know, in dance class, you bring a friend.
Oh.
You're going to bring a friend to watch Goddess Hangs with you next week.
Yes.
I just made that up at this very moment.
The buddy system.
Yeah, it's going to be Friendship Week next week. So you're going to bring your friends. And
we're all going to wear matching outfits.
Uh-huh.
You have to wear matching outfits with your friend while you listen, and send us pictures.
Yes, please. Even if you're watching on different computers, it's okay if you're quarantined in different places.
Yes, please.
So we look forward to Friendship Week next week. And we love you so much. Follow us on Instagram at Goddess Hangs. Sadie is
at I am Sadie Olson.
I'm at Juliet.Piper, and we'll hang out with you next week.
Bye.